In this video, we'll use a really easy method to make a quick sketch of the graph of y equals -2 sine x. All right, we have the general form of the equation and we have an outline to use. So in step 1, we find our essentials. We're going to be identifying a and b for our equation. Okay, so look at our equation. A is -2. Okay, whenever I have a negative for my a, I like to go ahead and note that my key points pattern is going to be flipped. It's a vertical reflection here. So the pattern will be flipped in step 2. Just a quick note, we'll come back to that. Okay, if you take the absolute value of a, that's going to give you the amplitude. So 2 units is our amplitude. That's just the distance from your midline of your graph up to the max and down to the min. So we'll come back to a when we get to our pattern and our min and our max. Okay, b is the coefficient in front of x. It's an understood 1 here. We use that to find the period. The formula is 2 pi over b. Here it's super simple. Our period is 2 pi. Okay, and that's the length of a cycle horizontally. Once I get my period, I like to go ahead and divide it by 4. So 2 pi divided by 4 is pi over 2. Okay, and I do that so that I have my period broken into 4 pieces, because in step 2, we have 4 key points that are equally spaced. And this will just make sure that those key points line up with our horizontal tick marks. All right, so let's count out 4 tick marks on our horizontal axis, and let's label them counting by 1 pi over 2. So we have 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2 reduces to pi, 3 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2 is 2 pi. And notice that this 4th tick mark moving to the right of the origin should always be your period when you set it up this way. All right, a we see is -2, so for our vertical scale, we'll go up 2 and down 2. All right, now we're ready for step 2, the big one, our key points pattern. We already said that our pattern flips. Okay, all that means is basically that our points flipped over the x-axis, and here is our new pattern. You can see really the min and the max just switch places because of that vertical flip. So we start at the origin. Let's go ahead and plot our points here. Our 0, 1 is at the origin. We have a minimum at the first horizontal tick mark, pi over 2. And our y-coordinate for this minimum, like we said, comes from the value of a, so -2. So we'll plot our point here. Okay, next tick mark to the right, pi gets a 0, that's 0, 2. And then we have a maximum at the 3rd tick mark, 3 pi over 2. Get that y-coordinate by just taking the opposite value for a. Remember, we said the amplitude is distance from the midline down to the minimum and up to the maximum. So we have our 4 key points in the pattern. We're ready to sketch in our sine curve. So we sketch, and we would repeat starting at 2 pi, and you can do the cycle in both directions for as many as you need. And this is a great sketch of y equals -2 sine x. I like using this method because you really dig into the key pieces of your equation and you understand concepts like the amplitude and the period, and that really helps you break it down and apply it in other scenarios. It is worth noting that you could just take the graph y equals sine x and notice that you have a vertical reflection and a stretch by a factor of 2, so you could do it that way as well. But this method will get you a nice, quick, clean sketch every single time for your basic sine graphs. Be sure to subscribe for a lot more examples and other tips. Thanks for watching.